Thinking back to all the elements that make designing a course or presentation effective, visuals and words together play a big part in learning. In recent years, the multimedia principle has been recognized as one of the most well-established principles of learning that could be applied to education. Information is encoded and remembered better when it is delivered in multiple modes rather than just one. During the job analysis and design phase, sometimes visuals are an afterthought. As instructional designers, it is important to consider how words and pictures work together to create meaning for the learner. Therefore, both words and visuals should be planned and designed at the same time. Are you actively learning during instruction? Hopefully you are just as active as this kid. When learners engage in relevant cognitive processing, mentally organize the material into coherent cognitive representation, and mentally integrate the information with their existing knowledge, then they are more than likely to understand the material. During a multimedia presentation, learners are encouraged to engage in active learning by mentally making connections between the pictorial and verbal representations. They analyze what they see, which promotes a higher level of thinking. Providing relevant graphics with text is a proven method of fostering deeper cognitive processing in learners. Depending on a task, learners' prior knowledge can vary. It is typical to use words and graphics for learners who have low knowledge of the specific domain. These learners are called novices, and studies reported that they learn better this way. More experienced learners are able to create their own mental images. Sometimes it's better to see the same material presented in a series of frames versus an animation. This is known as static illustrations. Visuals and text allows for active processing because the learners mentally animate the changes from frame to frame. Using animations may overload the learner's working memory because the images are so rich in detail. Animations are not always a bad thing. There's a time for usage, like animations for descriptions of how to perform a motor skill. Static visuals might be most effective to promote understanding of processes, whereas animated visuals may be more effective to teach hands-on procedures. When designing, one must be careful and provide graphics that are functional and minimize graphics that just decorate the page. The message of the lesson is not represented well with this type of graphic. The visual is only added for aesthetic appeal or humor. Now let's get into some visuals on the topic of the ADDIE model. We don't know exactly what the ADDIE model looks like, so we need some type of visual that represents it. This representational graphic illustrates the ADDIE model in order on paper. In my head, I thought about this as representing our design blueprint. It's great to be organized and have everything listed. But is this helping me retain the information I need? It's great to have this as an example to refer back to. This organizational graphic shows qualitative relationships among the content. Relational graphics portray a quantitative relationship among two or more variables, such as this bar graph. Here you see the relationship between words and graphics. Of course, learners learn better with words and graphics presented together. Transformational graphics depict changes in an object over time. Here shows the ADDIE model and its development over the years. It's been updated and reveals what changes took place. We learn how the model has adapted to any societal and/or educational changes over the span of 30 years. Interpretive graphics illustrates invisible relationships. This makes the phenomena of the ADDIE model visible and concrete. There are no visible images of analysis of a topic or implementation, so this helps give visuals to the words for each part of the model and their order. Across various studies, students who received a multimedia lesson consisting of words and pictures performed better on a transfer test that came after than students who received the same information in just words alone. Again, learners acquire knowledge best when words and graphics are presented together. There are certain content types that benefit from using graphics for learning. Clark 2008 has identified 5: facts, concepts, processes, procedures, and principles. Graphics, as topic organizers, can serve an organizational function by showing relationships. In this picture, you can still see the formation of an elephant, no matter the differences in color, size, or decoration. The multimedia principle allows learners from various walks of life the opportunity to engage in the same learning. The visually impaired may have the most difficulty. During my PE class, we use the multimedia principle when the juggling unit is presented. We show the students a video with some still frames of each technique. Most students are beginners, and watching the video of other children juggling will help promote their learning when they transfer. Now, the beginning of the school year is another story. I think the multimedia principle should be included in some way. This year, we used the same poster boards from previous years, and they weren't that appealing, and the students gave us these looks in every grade. We'll do better next year, guys. This picture is pretty self-explanatory and shows examples of multimedia principle elements to be used. Just in case you're having trouble, it reads, learning is enhanced by adding pictures to regular text by itself. You can add pictures to traditional lessons, show video examples, use charts, and show diagrams. Thank you all for listening to my Pecha. I hope this was insightful, and you all as designers go on to produce great presentations and courses for all to enjoy while they learn.